Hey everybody, this is going to be the tutorial for starting off your activity 2.1.3 shed, SketchUp shed drawing. I've got a number of things open here. I've got SketchUp open. I've got my 2.1.3 PowerPoint, and I'm looking at slide 2 in particular. And then I've got my PLTW curriculum where I can open up the existing shed drawing construction file where it'll give us the dimensions that we're going to use to build this shed. Okay. Specifically, we're going to look at this bottom right-hand corner down here where they're going to give us the dimensions that. How do I move this screen? Down here, we've got a 12-foot by 16-foot floor plan. So it's going to look something like this, but we're going to get started with SketchUp first. So I'm going to click New, and I'm going to use feet and inches because those are the units that my instructions and my plan are using. And I'm going to delete this faceless man to start us off. Okay, your floor framing will have these joists, these 4 joists running horizontal across the longer side. So this side we're going to call the 16-foot span, and then these 4 joists are going to make the shed 12 feet wide according to our plan drawing. And we're going to have 4 joists running across from one 16-foot side to the other. And we're going to have them spaced out 16 inches on center, and I'll talk more about that when we get there. So one thing that's important to note before we start drawing is if we zoom in on the way that this is set up, you can kind of see that the longer floor joist, the 16-foot floor joist, is on the outside, and then this horizontal floor joist that runs flush on both this end, the top, is sitting on the inside. It's on the inside of both of these longer 16-foot floor joists. And so we're actually not going to make this piece, this component on our drawing 12 feet. We're going to make it a little smaller. And that's because of the dimensions of your lumber. All right. Your lumber is 2 by 6. That means that it's 2 inches thick by 6 inches like tall, and then it can be as long as your lumber yard will cut it or you need. So we need a 16-foot piece of lumber, but it's going to be 2 inches thick and 6 inches tall. Those are the dimensions that we're using, and then it's going to be 16 feet long. All right, and so that piece of lumber right here, this small part where my cursor is 2 inches thick, and there's another one on this end that's 2 inches thick. And we want the whole exterior distance to be 12 feet. So we're going to hack 4 inches off each of these floor joists when we get there. And I wanted to mention that before we started drawing in case I forgot. So the first thing I want to do after I delete the faceless man is I want to look at the front view of my my drawing plane, and I want to zoom in on the origin right here, and I'm going to get my rectangle tool, and I want to draw a rectangle that's going to be 2 by 6 inches in size. And down in the bottom right, down in this dimension toolbar in the very bottom right, you can see that as I draw this out, that's going to make the first number bigger, and as I draw it up, that's going to make the second number bigger. And I want this to be 2 by 6. So I'm going to hit 2 inches with the 2 quotation marks, comma 6 inches, and hit enter. And you can see now that it's really, really tiny. So if I zoom in on that piece right there, this is 2 inches by 6 inches, and that's going to be where we're starting. I'm going to rotate my orientation. So when I click on my extruder, my push-pull tool, and I click on this face, I can start bringing it out the 16 feet that I need. And so I can type in 16 and then hit just one apostrophe for 16 feet and hit enter. And now I've got the big girder drawn that is corresponding to this piece of lumber right here. Okay, I'm now going to add my first floor joist. And again, I'm not going to make it 12 feet or 144 inches. I'm going to cut 4 inches off of that. So I'm going to make this 140 inches, and I'm going to try to draw it right here on the inside edge of this piece of lumber right here. So again, I'm going to, bring my view cube around like this. I want to draw a 2x6 rectangle on this interior side right here. And so, before I do that, I'm going to triple click on this and make it a component. So I use my white clicker tool, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll right click to get the this information bar, and I'm going to make it a component, and I'm going to call it my floor girder. All right, and hit OK. Now that's its own piece of a component, and I can make copies of it to make on the other side, and it's not going to get confused with any of the other stuff that I'm about to draw. So I'm going to click on my view cube to view the back side of my building here. Nope, I'm going to click on this side view. Where is my origin? Nope, I want to click on this side view. All right, and I'm going to zoom in on the end side. So I clicked on this button right here, and I'm zooming in on the very end. And I'm going to use my rectangle tool again. I'm going to click on the top left corner and then drag it out. I want this to be 2x6, and I know that the 6 is the first number. So I'm going to say 6, comma, 2, and I've got that rectangle drawn. And now I can pull that piece of lumber off of this side like this, and I'm going to pull it 140 inches. Okay. And so now I've got the corner of my floor started. I've got the 16-foot piece right here. I've got a 140-inch floor joist right here, and I'm going to add the next girder going back towards my red origin line. And I'm actually going to do that by making a copy of this first component. Before I do, I want to make this a component as well, so I'll triple click on this. I'll do 1, 2, 3, right click, make it a component. We're going to call this the floor joist. Okay. And then I'm going to be able to make copies of both of these things and get the floor started right away. All right. With using the move tool, all right, I can click on this. Oops, I'm going to escape there. Using the move tool, I can control click on this and drag out another piece. All right, and I'll drag it out 140 inches so that it is smack dab at the end of this other piece of lumber that I had right here. Okay, and so when I click on this view, you can see that I've made a copy of that component and I've pushed it all the way out to the right hand side. And now I can add all of my floor joists going across all the way to the red line origin, and I'm going to space those out 16 inches on center. I'm going to pause this video and get myself organized and make a new video for adding all of your floor joists.